Hi, Corrie Thorne, psychic medium, spiritual healer, life coach, coming in to do the channel messages for the month of September. This is for Aries. Um, I know I'm a few days into September. The energy of these really I started channeling through all of the astrology, all of the astrological signs and the birth charts and everything of how we're born, where we're and how we're born within the constellation and the planets. I started this for all the signs back on the 1st of September, but they're just all getting recorded as they're downloading through me and as I got time to finish them. This card came flying out, Aries. So please remember, this is not an astrology. It is not a tarot reading. It's not oracle. It's a combination of just the channel divine messages, and the cards that I use resonate with the message. So I'm using the pictures that go with it, and I just trust this process. So this month for you, Aries, is really about trusting the process. It is not all pretty, but it is well worth it, and it's a journey that's worth taking. This card came flying out. I have the 5 of Wands coming out for you, which is truly about that whole fire, but there's a battle here, and I feel like the 5 of Wands is bringing us into a battle. Are you battling all sides of you, the shadow of you, or is it like that whole being like the world kind of being defiant to who you are, or the acceptance, and you're done fighting that war, or you're done fighting? And this came flying out of the deck, like right from the middle of the deck and like out onto the desk. I'm like, are you ready to listen? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Aries is what I'm getting. September, we have Mars moving into retrograde. Mars is your ruling planet. There's like right when you're supposed to be up and going, it just feels like another pause. The 6th of September is huge, and that's tomorrow. And I don't know what it is. It's a Sunday. I just got the whole, and I've seen the crucifix is what I've seen. And I just keep seeing the crucifix. And I know in my book, in my new book, The More Than Existing, which is kind of that whole writing that kind of all over the place energy, that whole being okay with that. You have that mindset of probably, just being like you're a dozen different places, you're channeling all this information, all this stuff is happening just like all over the place. And so it's like sometimes that can be a pain in the ass to other people, and we can be annoying to other people. I'm an Aries, I get it. But it's like you can only get focused and clear when you stop fighting with yourself, when you stop the arguments, or you stop trying to please other people. And acceptance is huge. And how do we get to that acceptance? And then I have the Hangman that come up with that. And for me, the Hangman is that, it's that whole being like, so for life, for a lot of time, you were really closed off in the throat area, but it's not. The Hangman has it by the ankles. And so I'm going to go to the red and the green here. So I'm going to go to the root, and I'm going to the root and the green pants representing the healing, what holds us back from the forward movements of our lives. And the only thing keeps you from the forward momentum and the forward movement is that you have been rooted and grounded in some stories that are not really true anymore. And so the root, the red shoes, the red boots really represents that action, that fire for me of you taking the, like, walking on your flames, walking on those hot coals. It's like when you see people in spiritual retreats and stuff, sometimes walking barefoot on hot flames, just to kind of move past the obstacles, the barriers that have held you back, that this is now the time to kind of walk on that kind of path. Is that the path is not always going to be soft, green, beautiful, comfy. It's going to be hard sometimes, and it's going to be, but do you let a bridge, do you let something that's holding you back stop you in your path, and not be afraid to walk over it because you've been told long enough that hurts, or and so you're being told to just shine. And I have a full circle here, and there's a wand. There's a wand through here, and that wand is the exact same wand that's through there. And I've never noticed this in the cards, and I love that my dear friend Fran has made me pay to build an even closer relationship with my tarots, because I had a little bit of a block, I believe, at one point with them. And so even though I loved them and I used them and I've trained in them, but I just still wasn't really connecting to my story of my past lives with the cards. And so this beautiful wand is going through and it's holding up the chains. It is also going through the circle. So perspective. So when we see the circle going this way, but there's a wand through it, what if it can go this way? So when we change the way, when we see circle going this way, and in healing work, in my healing work as a Reiki master, I can tell you that we do the power symbol, and power represents going this way and into the center of this vortexy energy. But what if that same energy goes this way? And so you're being told to really gain a new perspective, and maybe it's time to start going the other direction. Maybe it's time to turn and face another direction that you kept running from, that you kept moving from, that you kept stepping away from. And it's like, today is the day, but it's not actually today is the 5th. This is not the day. Tomorrow is the day. It's something about September the 6th that is huge for Aries. And it's like, get this recording out now, out now, out now, out now. So the recording is coming out on the perfect day, the perfect time. They always do. You're also being told to really pay attention to the essence of that red, that root, that spine, and having lower back issues and problems. And I just have that whole your legs, this fear of walking your path or walking your journey, and you're being untied. And so I write about the golden thread, and I write a lot about the bookmark, a lot in my last book that I've, not my last ever, but the book that finishes up the More Than Existing Journey, the You Can't Make This Shit Up book that I'm writing, is that this thread, this golden thread, is the bookmark in the Bible, the bookmark in any book that we place. And we are that golden thread. And so tying up is, that opened, exposed heart. And the thread still ties us and tethers us, but we don't have to be so closed off. We don't have to be tied into hiding away or trying to stay covered up, trying to stay closed up. It is time for us to open it up, let out, let that heart heal, be fully healed, and to move into a new time. You're moving into a new energy. The retrograde is so that you can look back, that you can pause, that it's not a bad retrograde for you. It's a wonderful retrograde for you. There's a lot actually happening for you during that retrograde. And so when you don't automatically go to, oh God, is one of those retrogrades happening? It's not the way it is. But I feel as if this is a time when, that you're breaking all change, you're breaking all the rules, you're becoming the rebel to your own cause, but not a rebel of defiance, a rebel to truth, a rebel to living in your light. And as if you find yourself being a little bit angry that you have been muzzled, shut down, because Aries, you're a fire sign, you're a flame, and you are the first, but you're also the baby of the zodiacs. And so there's this sense of being done, and I have the 4 swords here, but it comes up in reverse for me. And so it's just like you're letting all of the old fall out. Blech. It's all coming out. You're not no longer, and you're reaching for your sword. This is the other people around you that have put the daggers in you, kind of the daggers trying to slow you down or trying to bring you back to being where they are in life or whatever it may be, but you're reaching for yours. It's like you secretly always had your hand on this, and that you're reaching for your own sword. You're going to bring your own sword up, and you're going to shine in your own light. And it is time. And it's like that truth that you walk in, that you're not defined by this other rules. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. And with the Ace of Pentacles, I'm like, I don't know why the tarot is having such a big part in this today, but it is. And so there is this sense of there's always a little weaselly energy in here. There's always somebody trying to make you doubt. That could often be your own head. The full moon that was the beginning of September was crucial in the story of the Aries energy. It was crucial. It was the deep-seated awakening. It was the divine feminine. It was Lilith energy and Mary Magdalene energy. It was the whole everyone else defines and builds your reputation. Everyone else kind of has created and told you who you're supposed to be. That's not a truth anymore. We're done with that shit. It's like you're done living. And so this is a sense of empowerment, truth, conviction, coming forth, living in your light. And we have that beautiful essence that these rocky little roads were here. Is this barriers? Is this protection? Or was that keeping things in alignment? This green grass represents so much in, and so you're no longer defined so much by the material world, but you're about to step into your material world. You're start to, like, it's that rebirth into the world again and bringing yourself forth, but walking on your green grass. No weeds, no weeds, but there's these beautiful trees, this beautiful love and support that roots and grounds. And when you see what's on the surface, you see that whole, oh, that's beautiful, that's, but it's the magic of what's working underground for you, what's working in connecting and tying the roots together, so that that foundation is strong, the ground is strong, and so that the roots intertwine and tie together like this. And that's what's coming up for me, is that what you don't see, because we see the material world, we see what's happening out here, but when you don't, when you connect to what you don't see, when you connect to what holds about 90% of the real world, that's when you get how powerful and strong and how intertwined we are into that oneness. Aries, this is your time. This is your light. It is time for you to break free, to know that those chains are breaking. You are walking on those flames. You're doing, I don't care. It is time for me to, nothing is burning my feet. Nothing is, there's just the burning desire in my heart for me to be able to move forward. And that's exactly what it is for you, Aries. This is a month of empowerment. This is a month of time, but that does not mean that it doesn't come, that it's always comes easy. There is a stop here that is like slowing you back down the beginning of the month. And then there is a go coming into the end of the month. Red light at the top. This is how I'm bringing it up now. Green light, go. But this is also ruby, right? There's also a ruby red of this. There's also a sense of, but this is, can also be an, and this can be an emerald, and this blue can be a topaz. And this also ties into the throat. And I just feel like you're really getting this. And then this could be a black onyx, or it could be Apache tear. I'm going to go Apache tear. So because the Apache tear is what's telling me, if you look at the story of the Apache tear stone, and you learn and discover more, and you know of the ancestors of the beautiful Aboriginal women who, if you go to Arizona, you go to Sedona, you go to those areas and you see all those beautiful red rocks, and it goes on forever. But there's this one black stone, the Apache tear stone. And it was the whole story of when the men went off to go hunting. So this is where the masculine energy kind of comes in here as well. It's like, so when the men went off hunting and the women were home doing all the care that needed to be done for all the things to care for the children, and they were out providing for their family, doing the right thing. And those with intentions to cause harm, or the intentions of believing they were doing the right thing, is that they were going to take out the Apache Indians, like they were going to take out the people and claim the land. They wanted it all for themselves, and thinking in their own heads that that was their realities in the story work, they chased down, hunting down. And the pride of these Apaches were that they were not going to be caught. They weren't going to be captured and trapped. So instead of that, they rode off the cliff and over the hill, over the cliff, and in honoring themselves, they died in honoring themselves. This is the story as I've heard it. And so it's been, and so when the women, they didn't return home and the women went looking for them, they found all of their bodies on the end, and that their tears that were cried, the tears that were cried out, formed into the pain of the tears of these that were cried, is that these women cried out enough tears that that they cried for all of us. And they cried out, so in surrendering over our miseries, our pain, our hurt, in that knowing that there was the ultimate sacrifices were already made for us. The ultimate sacrifices were made and were made for us. And everybody was in that, it was that fight of right and wrong and who's right and wrong. And that we no longer need to cry out. It's like for us to stand up, to not to be caught in those stories of pain, but to walk proudly and to learn from those lessons, to learn from the hurt that is sometimes reflecting or causing in that need and desire. And so it's like when we look at that Apache tear, and when we bring that, it is time to end the cycle of the old stories. So it's like the circle of the old stories that are in here for me is that the family circles, is that when we turn the wheel and we turn it in another direction, when we let the fire ignite us to be able to live a different life, to tell a different story, we are not forgetting, but we are forgiving. And this whole essence that we don't have tears of sadness, it's time for tears of joy and tears of happiness, and um, to be happy and proud of what we have done, of what we are now doing, or that journey we are now taking. And so we we take the Apache tear and we place it in the places where we finally say, we are done. And the Apache tear often shows up when our loved ones from the spirit world are often telling us that it's over. Like that story is done, that story is over. And that we can learn from the past. We can take what we've learned from the past and we can be better, we can do better. And that's the truth that's coming through the Aries energy. So a challenge is sometimes that not everybody's going to be on board. You're always going to have somebody or something that may be wanting to try to chase you down, but it's stopping. When you're at the end of the cliff, you know, we jump into our future, we jump into that, but we stop and we stand up for ourselves when needed, because we fight. We're not here to fight, but we're here to not to sacrifice ourselves for the cause of somebody else, or because we had too much pride to let ourselves stand up. When we know we're going to be defeated, we tend to hide when we think we're going to be defeated. But what if we're not defeated? And so I just feel like for Aries, it's like that time to stop, stand up, stand tall, turn around, face what needs to be faced, walk your fire, walk your path, walk your journey, and just look at it with a new perspective, because I feel like just that voice of reason will be that change. So you be the voice of reason for yourself. The war is over. We're done the battle. We're done fighting. We are reaching down. We are standing up, reaching for this, standing up. And that Weasley energy is not seeing that we're now seeing the rooted truth of it all, and that we're not here to cast stones or to cast, but that full moon energy, it was truly about an awakening, and this whole world is ready for that awakening, Aries. So I'm going to validate this message, and I hope this message resonates, or I hope you can understand this message in the best way that it's been channeling through to me. I think I could go on with this forever for you, but I can't today. It has to be, it is forgiveness. Mother Mary asked me to give this out of forgiveness, patience. Be patient during September. It is huge. It is a month of the final stage of healing, and have faith that the challenges that sometimes come up on us is that to hold on to our faith, that beautiful things are happening, awakening. We will be trailing this into September, October, November, all the way into December. And then it's like, boom, this big awakening, and then gratitude. Every day, just gratitude for this lesson, for this journey, for everything that has taken place to teach me of the fact of how powerful it is to stay in the light of faith, and in the faith of the God consciousness, and in my own light of knowing that I am worthy to walk this journey, that my beginning, my opportunities, my rising moment of my life is upon me, and I have to not be afraid to walk it. That your sword, your journey, your voice is very important. To be you, to be the essence of you, and know that it is time of the ultimate forgiveness. We're done carrying those old stories. Much love. I'll see you all in October. Bye-bye.